Prosecutor's office who took part in Diamond Prosecutor's case, and David Sakvarelidze is given the floor. Good afternoon. First of all, I thank everyone and all the media who provided us with opportunity to speak, and to the activists who support us. The topic of our briefing is to remind the public about the case of Diamond Prosecutors. This case is the Rabkin, the symbol of a confrontation between old and new system. This case is the symbol of the new Ukraine and Maidan. And those people around me, look at them all. They gathered here. They are representatives of a special department, general inspection, that investigated corruption in the system of prosecutor's office. And what is the main task? Now we have 40 different proceedings, and one of the main cases is Diamond Prosecutor's case. And Shokin is there as the advocate of and defender of Karnitz and Shapakin, and people who are close to them. And there is a term, manager of the affair, Muravi, it is called in Georgian, and Karnitz is a manager of Shokin's affairs, and he was his driver previously. And there are evidence provided by the materials taken in the course of search, and Karnitz that and all these guys, the face of New Ukraine, whom we invited to General Prosecutor's office from different regions and towns, they do not have diamonds or houses. They didn't betray anyone. They believed me and the president and the order of the president under which this department was created. And I addressed him that this service should be in operation, and some investigators and prosecutors, and they threatened the system somehow for Shokin, for his deputy Stalarchuk, Sevruk. So these are people. They will be against that people, and it doesn't mean Sevruk, other guy will be appointed. This team should be changed because otherwise we will the old system remains, and nothing will change. Why? Because everything started with the fact that after Diamond Prosecutor's case, they started to start criminal cases against our guys, and against me there is 9th case against my guys, the workers of our office. And we some cases were closed, by some cases remained. And today our workers got such notice. They were removed from the staff, and there should general prosecutor's inspection should be created, and there we should have investigation on corruption cases, and also second department that is for procedural matters, and we were deceived. These guys are out of the staff, and they were provided these notices about their dismissal. And everything is done in order to paralyze these cases and proceedings. Up to 40 proceedings are going to be paralyzed in this case. And I believe that this is the last straw, and we should have public support, and several NGOs announced the action that will be held tomorrow, Friday, and these guys, they don't have diamonds, they don't have multi-millions houses, but they have ideas and belief in a new Ukraine. And you see that the only Georgian here is me, and everything is done here is done by Ukrainians, not by some other nationalities. And we should protect these guys. And maybe it sounds strange that I need to use this platform in order to defend my subordinates, but I don't have other options because the system is much bigger than me or us, and these bureaucratic obstacles, they are before us. And imagine the feelings of ordinary prosecutor and investigator who are going to be who will deal with the high cases on high officials, whether and for half a year there is a war to they try to remove our effective department, and we want once more we want to show these notices, and maybe a prosecutor's office will deny that these notices exist, but they really exist. And according to our information, we are ready. There are some permissions for searches, and I believe that this is done in order to psychologically destroy the spirit and enthusiasm of our guys. And maybe they want to compose some case with Tellerchuk, and we should work together. And the only threat to Ukrainian society, they believe that these are the guys from their holidays, photos from their holidays or some graduation ceremonies, and prosecutor's office put it on the site and tried to convince Ukrainians that these people are not good enough to be on these positions in the prosecutor's office, and everything else is good and in the prosecutor's office. They appoint and reappoint people on positions, but these people, they're not good enough. So 11 a.m. Friday, tomorrow, we will conduct an action near prosecutor's office building, and join us.
TV channel, perhaps you mentioned already because we were late. Do you plan to continue the work in this present General Prosecutor's Office? No, I do not. I'm not going to surrender because I have some duties and obligation before the people who are standing on this stage, because I persuaded them to be involved in that, because some of them were in doubts, whether this service will be able to work properly under the existing traditions of the General Prosecutor's Office. I tried to persuade them that yes, we would be able, and I tried to give them guarantees that the President and the government is behind us. If they take this decision to leave, it's up to them. But I myself, I'm not going to do that. Inter TV channel, how can you comment on the statement or some of the MPs who accuse your team and kind of misappropriation of some of the money allocated for the development of the prosecutor's office? So please, did you get that money? Because there was a different information on this account. Thank you for your question. Even in African countries, prosecutor office and the investigation bodies and the state structures know that the money of the American U.S. taxpayers will not just incidentally put to the account of those agencies which face the problem with the corruption. Actually, we ourselves are very interested to know what would be the results of this investigation. I was never interviewed or invited for interrogation. Neither was the ambassador or the chairman of the organization which actually allocated this money. Of course, it's a shame when some MP take the information, for them to give the chance for our people to try to justify their moves, whatever else. This actually put a blame on the image of the Ukraine, and because nobody knows how we deal with international donor organizations. Our American counterparts still prepared to finance some of our efforts, but since they already have some questions and doubts regarding the reputation and the corruptedness of our institution, which is not really clear, and the reform is not being implemented according to the standards, and there are some questions that are shocking. This program has been suspended. We know everything. We have here ears and eyes and the social networks, etc., etc. As for the memorandum, yes, I signed the memorandum about the interaction or cooperation. I often actually sign such kind of memorandum with a donor organization. I'm going to continue to do that because we need international partners in order to ensure the publicity or financial support of our prosecutor's office. So please, I would like you to discriminate between memorandum about cooperation and interaction or specific contract, which I do not have any right to sign or to monitor or whatever. Different donor organizations funded different projects. For example, European Union allocate money to finance the tests for the prosecutors. The British friends allocated money for the electronic documentation or document circulation, but none of those organizations work directly with the financial accounts, with any recipients or, let's say, beneficiaries. They work through different organizations, defeat or British or OECD, etc., etc. They can actually interview any of the international organizations if they are not ashamed to do that, and just to get to know how they work. Livan from Maidan. I have a question as an ITO participant. Of late, they disseminate the information that the prosecutor general will be occupied. This position will be occupied by the military prosecutor Matyar. Can you tell me how they can appoint such a person who has never visited the field? Our guys in the A2 in the field where they have awful conditions, and he's involved in drinking, etc., etc., and he will be replaced with Butseka. Well, different people, there are different people who are being discussed, concerned for filling this position, but I don't know. But our prosecutor's office needs the radical changes, and the person who is going to become the head of the general prosecutor's office has to have a vision, what kind of a program he would have, what he's going to start with, within which terms, what results they would like to achieve. And you, as a citizen of Ukraine, you perhaps better know what you would like to see or expect from the prosecutors. Radio Liberty, they said when they were creating this prosecutor's office, they said that, okay, they try to persuade you to let's say to switch the structure, or maybe they switch over some of the people. Unfortunately, all those people were candidates for the competition for the anti-corruption prosecutor, but they were actually refused this possibility. The committee actually, under the pressure was shocking. They said that they allegedly were not eligible to participate in this competition because they work in the anti-corruptive bodies. This is not true. They have all the right to participate in this contest, competition, and I'm really happy to say that there are some signals from Timon Sitnik and other people that they are prepared to hire to hire all those people. We are going to work and make sure that those people can have the jobs and work where they already did a lot, and so not somebody could think that we try to run away or avoid some responsibility. Let us just give us a chance to work here. You know, if you are talking about the proceedings which are instigated, we are talking about the National Agency for Fighting Corruption. We are working with the cases which are within our competence or jurisdiction. We actually delegated or send them or handed over some of the cases to them. We do not have any problems with that organization, that agency. Can you say a few words about the possible searches or the surveillance? You do not exclude the possible actions, some actions against you. No, I do not exclude this possibility. But what's the sense to search in the apartments of those guys or hostels where they live now or reside now? They're not going to find the diamonds or hundreds of thousands of dollars like in case of diamond prosecutors. No, this has only one goal or one objective, just to put the blame on our guys, to somehow to stain their reputation and say that what kind of bad guys we are, One clarification. I don't know whether the reaction of the president. We know that the candidate for the office of the general prosecutors is the competence of the president. I can't answer your question. I haven't had yet the meeting with the president, but I hope that he's going to pass a very wise and just and fair decision and will help our guys to work where they can work. Thank you very much, our dear colleagues. There is one question more. Sorry. Hannah Boka, TSN 1+1. Could you clarify the situation? We do not see those documents which you just demonstrate to us. You mean that all those employees have been already fired? No, they have been informed that in several days from now they're going to be fired. We have about 12 people here on this stage. The majority of those people you can see, they are in suspended situation for more than a month now. They were talking that they will be reassigned to another inspectorate body, but somehow they keep them on a short leash, so to say, and sorry to say that, and etc., and try to somehow to blame them and to discredit them. They do not find any diamonds, but they can find some photos in these women's shoes, whatever, Maybe some of your colleagues would like to say something who specifically to us. Please do that. Vitaly Apanasenko, sorry. Perhaps I'm already... Vitaly, by the way, used to be one of the key procedure figures dealing with the diamond prosecutors case. Actually, he had to support the prosecution together with Yanis, but today he got this kind of notice about his pending dismissal. Around me there are some young guys and people about 20 and more years, and all we passed through kind of interview with David Sakvarelidze when we started the case recognition biking, when I personally actually signed the document about the warrant of searches. We were promised, the government has promised us the support and protection, support on the part of the public at large. That's why through this briefing we seek your support and defense and protection, because they try to oust us from this, and they are going to squeeze it out of our offices. Thank you. Good afternoon. Actually, Taras Bezruki. I was the last to be the head of the investigation regarding the prosecutor office employees, including 7 investigators, and also had this ever IT technology IT department. So since February 5 this year, we are kind of we are not no longer the on the list of the office. Actually, they did not appoint the sufficient number of the employees. We already did that and did that a long time ago. We don't know what what is the fate of those proceedings we're dealing with. As for the dismissal or the firing, it started yesterday. Yesterday started the procedure of handing over such notices by the experts. The experts, they are not the experts of the prosecutor's office. They actually IT experts. Today in the morning they started to summon investigators, prosecutors, and the managers. Until the first half of the day, they continued to hand over to present their notices, and I have one of in my hand. So then they stopped to do that. We do not know whether everybody received such notices or notification of the pending dismissal or not. Did you address Mr. Shokin? Mr. Shokin called me today, and he wanted to say why we actually made this topic public. I said because our agreement, our contract has been violated, and they took the unjust or unfair attitude toward those guys who actually do not deserve such unfair treatment. Perhaps myself and Mr. Shokin, we are very similar. We have very strong position. We strongly defend our own positions. He defends his own interests. I defend my guys. So we'll see who is going to win over. Thank you. This is the end of our working day in this press conference.